Hello, my name's Logan, but if you're watching this, you probably already know that. And if you're one of my students, that's Mr. Tuttle to you. As you may know, I have recently been awarded the Pulitzer Prize for journalism. All of you know how passionately I've worked towards this goal, and I want to take the time to share with you how I got to where I am today, and thank some of those who have helped me along the way. Behind me, you'll see some of the books that I've been able to publish in my pursuit of the Pulitzer. Some of them are good to be sure, but some of them, well, probably not so much. But I keep them on the same shelf to remind me of the path that I've taken. Each book represents a different part of my life. They are timestamps of my talent, reminders of how far I've come. I remember a time when this was a distant dream, something that didn't even seem possible. In fact, even speaking the words was laughable. It wasn't until I took a class at Valencia College titled New Student Experience that I was able to formulate a purpose. I remember we had to write a purpose paper in which we described our goals. I have to tell you, I really struggled with this assignment. Not because I was at a loss for words, but because up until that point, I never felt that I had a purpose. I was simply going through the motions. But this assignment forced me to look deep inside myself and realize that I had a passion for writing. So when I wrote my paper, I said that my purpose was to become a professional writer by the year 2025. And I finally felt relieved. For me, the hard part was over. I picked my path, and now all I had to do was work towards it. Everything was so much simpler after I chose my purpose. I knew that I had certain strengths that I could rely on. In fact, in that very same class, we took an assessment that evaluated our top strengths. Among my top 5 were restorative and achiever. Now, restorative simply means that I'm good at solving problems, and achiever is pretty obvious. I work hard to obtain my goals. After analyzing my strengths, I knew that I had the tools to become a professional writer, and I knew that my purpose was realistic and true to myself. I had a goal of becoming a writer, of course, but I was also practical with myself and knew that I would have to support myself while I pursued my passion. As such, becoming a teacher would facilitate my needs and allow me to write in my downtime. That class and the assignments that we had there were instrumental in beginning of my path. Without it, I may never have committed myself to my goals, and that's what drove me to where I am today. I continued my education at Valencia and eventually obtained my associate's degree before I transferred to the University of Central Florida, where I got my bachelor's degree in English. Given my goal to become a writer, it seemed obvious that I had to study English, but it also had the added benefit of allowing me to teach as long as I acquired a permanent certification. Throughout my education, I was fortunate enough to receive grants that allowed me to pay for my classes. I was hesitant to take loans because of the high interest rate that they can sometimes get. So whatever the grants didn't pay, I actually paid for it out of pocket. There were plenty of resources that I used at both colleges. While at Valencia in particular, though, I found myself using their Answer Center and Atlas Labs very frequently, especially early on. These were great places to get some answers to various questions, and the Atlas Lab offered a great quiet area for me to study and work on some projects. I also found myself using the academic counselors very often as well. They made it very, very easy for me to be able to plot my path for my education. After I obtained my bachelor's degree at UCF, I attended a teacher's job fair where I was able to meet face-to-face with representatives from various schools in the area that were hiring. That same day, I signed a contract with the school I am currently teaching at, and even though I didn't have a degree in education in particular, I was able to teach my first year while I obtained my permanent certifications, and now I can teach wherever I want. The classes were difficult to be sure, and they definitely put my knowledge to the test, but it was worth it in the long run to be sure. Now, I teach 12th grade creative writing, and I get to put my degree to good use. I'm able to educate young minds on how to articulate themselves in creative ways. I have a curriculum to adhere to, of course, but I also have the opportunity to inspire and shape young writers, which is incredibly rewarding. It's not easy being a teacher, that's for sure. You have to be patient, compassionate, knowledgeable, and flexible. You students have to know that they can approach you with virtually anything and be able to count on you for guidance. In a way, teaching feels like being a father to me. Every year I get roughly 130 new children, and I get to guide them as they mature and pursue their own goals. It's definitely not easy, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I get to instill a new passion in them, a passion that I share for writing. And this will help shape the world as our young future rises. There's actually another educator out there that I would like to take the time to thank. This person was kind enough to let me interview them for the project as I was in the new student experience class at Valencia. Ms. Longbreak, if you're listening, thank you very much for taking the time to allow me to pick your brain for my career interview assignment. Without your insight, I would never have known that I could become an educator without having to obtain an actual education degree. And I would likely not have been prepared for how adaptable you have to be as an educator. I wouldn't have known that it's just as important to be skilled at working independently as it is to be able to work well with others. So thank you. Overall, it has been a fantastic journey, one rife with adversity and achievements. Thank you to all of the representatives and dedicated public servants at Valencia Community College. Thank you to my friends and family who have supported me and encouraged me to keep going and stay motivated even during the most difficult of times. And thank you, Ms. Longbreak, for your incredible insight on this amazing career. I couldn't have done it without all of you. Thank you.